Hello guys, this is Sean from Korea, and today I will be doing the weekly IONQ update, which includes secret relationship between IONQ and Google, and also the scalability problem solved, which was mentioned by one of the co-founder, Chris Monroe. So this could be a little bit messy because I've been going over the Korean videos that I made and made the summary of it. So please bear with me, even though it's kind of messy. First, to start off, this is an email that I had with Jung-sang Kim, which you guys know as the CTO and the co-founder of the IonQ. So I asked him if we could have an official interview, and he said that he was sorry for his slow response, and he's CCing IonQ CFO Thomas Kramer, who he believes we've been already in touch with him. So he's going to manage all the official interviews, and we already got an official approval of having an official interview with them. So I will be sending out the questions to them right after the earning call, which is coming in a few days. So I was talking with Jung-sang Kim and also with Thomas Kramer, the CFO of the IonQ, and he told us that he absolutely loves our engagement in being a long-term investors of IonQ and also as a supporting group of IonQ. And for today, I was going over the Yahoo Finance analysis, and there was this one guy called Frieder. I think is one of the named investors. He has more than 4,000 posts, and he has been analyzing IonQ even before the merger. So he's been looking at this stock for a long time, and he seems to have a lot of experience of specs. So let's see what he says. So he was talking about the link between IonQ and Google, and he said that Google's head of quantum software in 2020 was transferred to IonQ from Google. And obviously, you don't steal brains from your favorite shareholder, which holds more than 10% of IonQ's total stock. So he says it's a mutual agreement for sure. So people overlook this fact, but he didn't. So I did some research on that. So that's our first topic. So first topic is, why did Dave Bacon move between Google and IonQ? So this is the guy, the Bacon. He's pretty famous, and I think it's one of the genius in quantum industry. So what he did was programming a quantum computer with Cirq. What Cirq is a Python-based open source framework for NISQ quantum computers. So it was developed by Google AI quantum team, which was led by this guy. So let's see what happened. So sorry for the Korean, but this says the education. So he went to University of California, Berkeley this one's first. So Caltech, he did BS in physics and literature, and then he moved to Berkeley to do physics PhD, where he studied quantum computers from there. And then for his career, he first started off as senior software engineer in Google for 4 years and 6 months, and then he got promoted and became staff software engineer, and then he became the leader of the quantum software engineer, where he led quantum software team at Google and launched Google's quantum computing service, which allows users to go through cloud to use the actual Google's quantum computer. So he's one of the brains of quantum technology in Google. And what is interesting is that he moved to IonQ on 2020 October and worked there for 1 year in Seattle, Washington. And then he joined Google again recently. And this isn't a normal thing, because you don't just move your core member from your company to other company and then bring him back, because there are industry secrets that he has to keep for more than 2 years. So this isn't a usual thing that happens in the industry. So I suspect there was something between Google and IonQ. So for here, we could see that on 2020, October 29th, IonQ brought Dave Bacon from Google's quantum engineering team and named him as IonQ's vice president of software. Dave Bacon has led Google's quantum software team to launch Google Quantum Service, as I mentioned before, and was one of the core members who claimed the quantum advantage by Google. And he also validated Bacon and Shor code for error correction. And when IonQ brought him to IonQ, IonQ CEO Peter Chapman said that I told Dave I would grant him 3 wishes if he decided to join IonQ. The first one is he asked for a quantum computer with 100 or more logical qubits. And the second one is to teleport. And third one is the true love. And then the last one is to bring back Betamax, which is sort of a videotape that existed decades ago. And what Dave Bacon said when he transferred from Google to IonQ, I've long admired IonQ's co-founders, Chris Monroe and Jung-Sang Kim, who are true pioneers in the field of quantum. I was blown away when I heard that Chris and Ken Brown used the Bacon Shor code for the logical qubit demonstration, as I've been watching their advancements since I was a graduate student. Their demonstration with ion trap technology helped convince that it was the right time to join IonQ. So even though he worked there in Google by using superconducting method, he thought IonQ's ion trap technology was better. I think that's what he's saying here. And what's interesting is that this is in Korean, but this says U.S. Washington, Seattle. So he stayed there for a long time and worked there more than 10 years. And what's interesting is that this paragraph is from IonQ's recruiting site. So what they said was that even though their headquarters is in College Park, which is down the street from the University of Maryland and just a few minutes away from Washington, D.C., IonQ have a growing West Coast presence in Seattle, Washington. Can you see the correlation here? So IonQ wants to have some presence, and they want to have their power in Seattle, Washington, and Dave Bacon happens to be a Seattle native. And what's more interesting is that this is from Google's website, their recruiting site, and they say that they have Seattle, Kirkland, a branch which has more than 500 jobs available. So they have a huge branch in Seattle, which is very close to what IonQ, that IonQ wants to have influence on Seattle as well. So there might be some correlation here. And what's more interesting is that Google Seattle Kirkland branch has quantum computing team there. So we could see that IonQ gave us a hint that they have a close relationship in Google at Seattle. So let's see the majority holders of IonQ stock. So we could see here that Google Venture has more than has 11.4%. And here for the directors, Blake Byers has 300,000 stocks. And we could see that Blake Byers is here. So his title is founder of Byers Capital, but he's actually from Google Ventures. So I looked over his LinkedIn site, and we could see that he went to Duke University and then moved to Stanford and became a general partner, which usually is a very high position in venture capital firm. And then he exited GV and created his own Byers Capital. But even though he got out of the Google, he still is investing in IonQ and is a director. So I think this implicates another close and deep relationship between Google and IonQ. And what's interesting is that I did some research on Jung-Sang Kim as well, the CTO and the co-founder of IonQ, and he went to Stanford and then he became the professor of Duke University. Can you see some similarity here? So Blake Byers and Jung-Sang Kim went to 2 schools two same schools. So there might be some kind of close relationship between Blake Byers and Jung Sang Kim. So maybe the reason why the Google invested in IonQ might be these two people's relationship. So it's not just a business relationship. I think there's something more onto it. So my conclusion for this topic is that Google seems to be engaging with deeper relationship with IonQ than it seems at the surface. So maybe possible M&A in the future, but if not, very close relationship between Google and IonQ. So we could figure that out. And the second topic is IonQ's recent news. So they did some sponsored sessions at Inside Quantum Technology. So this Inside Quantum Technology is a conference and exhibition let's see, where developers, business leaders, marketing strategists, and investors gather to talk about quantum business and to do business there. So more than 10,000 people attended it. And so these are industries that are related to Inside Quantum. So here we could see that IonQ did some sessions for 2 hours as their main session. And of course, their interest was in financial services. From many other news articles and from the interviews from the core members, we could see that IonQ is aiming to produce some practical quantum applications in machine learning and in financial services. So we could see another proof of that from here. So the main player of IonQ's application research is Sonika Johri. So we'll be talking about who she is. So she's from India and she went to Princeton. And for her career, she worked in Intel Labs for about 5 years. And at Intel, she worked at the field of quantum computing, but she moved to IonQ. But we know that Intel uses, I think it's spin qubit or superconducting qubits. But I think she thought IonQ's ion trap technology is better, so she moved to IonQ. And she became a lead quantum applications research scientist. So she speaks in a lot of official events as the face of IonQ. So we should keep monitoring her. So from here, a month ago, she said that the Quantum Economic Development Consortium, QEDC, just released a paper on an application-oriented benchmarking of quantum computers. And basically what she's saying is that IonQ's device had the best performance among others, like IBM, Honeywell. And besides the quantum inside the quantum, the IonQ also had a session in NVIDIA GTC. So Sonika Johri spoke there as well, and Elton Zhu, the Fidelity Center of Applied Technology director, they both speak together. So this one was about quantum machine learning. So they introduced developers to quantum machine learning on both quantum simulators and the world's leading trapped ion quantum computers through a case study. So they are trying to produce something practical in financial services as well as in the machine learning field. And the next news is that IonQ announced that their CFO, Thomas Kramer, was named one of the DCA Live 2021 Tech CFO Stars. So we'll be looking at who this person is. So this basically, DCA Live, is a giving a prize to recognized Washington region's high growth tech, finance, and operations leaders. So here, Thomas Kramer was named as well. So by looking at his LinkedIn profile, he is currently a CFO at IonQ. And I think he's not from the United States because Stockholm and Norway is at Europe. So maybe He was European and moved to, or immigrant, became immigrant of the United States, I think, and he went to Harvard Business School and did MBA in strategy and finance there. So these are some proofs that I had conversation with him. So he pretty much enjoyed a trip to Korea, and he also loves our engagement of our Korean long-term IONQ investment groups. So by looking at his career, he started as a consultant at Accenture. So he did some projects at retail logistics pricing, internet and IT and tech. So he knows some technologies. And he moved to BCG and worked as a consultant as there as well. So he did some finance, pharma, M&A. And then he went to a company called Cvent, which produces and manages some softwares. So there he became the director and CFO. And what's interesting is that this company was backed by NEA, very familiar name, right? So for IonQ, NEA invested more than 14% of the shares. And then he moved to O-Power, which was laterly acquired by Oracle, I believe. And this firm was also backed by NEA. So we could see that maybe CFO Thomas Kramer is related to NEA, and that's why IonQ invested to, NEA invested to IonQ. So as long as he stays, maybe NEA would not throw their shares away on the lockup agreement releasement date. That's one of my speculation. And of course, he became a founder of Remark Advisory, which invested and advised pre-IPO companies in the technology sector. And I believe that's when he got interested in IonQ and then decided to quit this job and moved as a CFO of IonQ. So this is another evidence that one of the most talented mind in the field of finance chose IonQ. So IonQ might be the best player in the quantum industry, as Thomas Kramer chose IonQ as well. So we could see, let's see. So IonQ tries to have near future practical applications of quantum computer on the financial services. So they're closely working with Goldman Sachs and also with Fidelity, and also for machine learning by working with Fidelity. So I believe they will produce something meaningful in the next 2 to 3 years, hopefully. And also CFO's background implies that NEA has something to do with him. So I believe even though the lockup period ends next March, I think, if Thomas Kramer stays in IonQ longer, then NEA might not throw their shares away and stay as an investor of IonQ for longer terms. So next topic is HPCwire interview with Chris Monroe, and I think this one is very important because this is the part where he talked about resolving the issue of scalability of IonQ's ion trap technology. So Monroe said the major technical issues has been already resolved for IonQ, and presumably IonQ will successfully demonstrate its modular architecture of quantum processor next year. So something big is coming soon. He said competing approaches, superconducting and all photonics, for example, won't be able to scale. They are stuck, he said. There are ion trap rivals such as Honeywell, but it has plans to merge with Cambridge Quantum, but it's still progressing, and I believe their technology is far behind the technology of IonQ's. And his view of long term is interesting. As science and hardware issues are resolved, software will become the driver. So IonQ already has a substantial software team. The company uses machine learning now to program its control system elements such as the laser pulses and connectivity. So this one is very important. So we are going to be a software company in the long haul, and I'm pretty happy with that, said Monroe. So I thought IONQ might be only working at the field of quantum hardware, but he definitely mentions here that he and his firm is going to be a software quantum company as well. So if they succeed, I think they might be the next generation of Nvidia. So they have a potential to grow their stock price over 200 times. That's my only speculation. So please do your own DD, and this is just for information sharing purposes. So for here, one of my colleagues in my Kakao Talk group, in the long-term IONQ investment group of Koreans, sent me an evidence that Chris Monroe and Jong-Sun Kim already announced a research result that is related to his interview of resolving scalability issues. So the name of the research result is that large-scale modular quantum computer architecture with atomic memory and photonic interconnects. That's what he said at the interview as well. So it's already been proved. So they only need to develop it in the future. So atomic quantum computer scaling could have more than 1000 qubits. So their plan is to have multi-core quantum processing, which they already showed the proof of concept, I think, few months ago. So they already have the technology. So they will be having integrated photonics and switches, SNSPD detectors array. So they will have modular quantum processors lined like this, and they are connected with the optical switch with the not sure what this is called, but they already have the strategy to overcome the scalability issue, and it's already been proven. So we just need to wait and see. And there has been few other partnership announced. First one was that IonQ had a partnership with Multiverse QC, which is basically a firm developing financial solutions in quantum field, or quantum solutions in financial field. So with multiverse computing, IonQ could let users use the state-of-the-art ion trap quantum computer even the users don't know how to use quantum technology. So they don't have to write a single code. They just need to use the traditional spreadsheets of a solution called Singularity of Multiverse. So the practical applications is a step closer to us. And then second partnership was IonQ with NVIDIA. So NVIDIA announced a SDK, software development kit named QQuantum, which are optimized libraries and tools for accelerating quantum computing workflows. And developers can use QQuantum while creating and verifying new algorithms more easily and reliability. So IonQ applied QQuantum in their workflow as well. And IonQ was only a small company that was named as a partner in NVIDIA GTC. All the other companies were like big techs like IBM, Google, and so forth. And also other research labs, famous universities like Caltech, UMD, and so on. So I think that NVIDIA mentioning IonQ was very meaningful. So they are doing very well. So this concludes my weekly IonQ update, which concludes secret relationship with Google and introducing Sonika Johri, Thomas Kramer, Blake Byers, and so forth. And the scalability solved, which was mentioned by IonQ's co-founder, Chris Monroe. So I hope you liked the video. And I plan to do a weekly IonQ update video every week. So please subscribe, leave a like, and also leave a comment if you wish to. Alright, so I'll see you guys at the next video.